All right, this section is 7.5, which is working on the distance formula. So a distance is your length of a line. Your distance formula is d equals the square root of x1 minus x2 squared plus y1 minus y2 squared. In general, this is what you would do if you're given a point x1 comma y1 and x2 comma y2. Okay, so what we're going to do is actually use that formula to find the distance between 2 points. So if I'm given endpoints of -1, 0 and 3, 3, this is x1, y1, x2, y2. So the distance is equal to the square root your first x minus your second x squared plus your first y minus your second y squared. So we're going to simplify what's in those parentheses first. -1 minus 3 is -4, and that's being squared. The parentheses are really important though, so make sure you have those. And then plus 0 minus 3 is -3 squared. Squaring it means -4 times -4, which gives us a positive 16, plus -3 times -3, which is a positive 9, (16 plus 9 is 25, and the square root of 25 is 5. Because 5 times 5 is 25. Okay? Questions on that first one? Any questions on that first one?
I was just like, wait, how did you, like, on the first part,
Yeah?
on like 0, 3, how did you get it to be -3?
It's 0 minus 3.
Oh.
So again, it's just 0 minus 3. It's always, it's always your x minus your other x, your y minus your other y. Okay? Always a minus sign in between. All right, let's try it again, but if we're given a graph, the first thing we have to do is find the points. So this left point is -1, 2. And this right point is 1, -5. Okay. Now we're going to do the same thing. Finding the distance between them. Square root. It doesn't matter which one you have first, either the left point or the right point, as long as you're consistent with it. So if we did -1 minus 1 squared plus 2 minus a -5 squared. So this is where I got those two from. And that's where I got those two from. Okay? And then simplifying what's inside those parentheses first. -1 minus 1 is -2, and that's squared. 2 minus -5, this double negative becomes a plus. So that becomes 7 squared. -2 times -2 is 4. And 7 times 7 is 49. So this gives us the square root of 53. Okay? Questions on these two?
Yeah, what the fuck is that red thing?
It's a plus sign.
My bad.
Double negative means plus.
Oh, that's a double negative?
Yep.
Okay.
It was minus negative, that became a plus. Any other questions? Okay. We're going to skip these two. And we're going to go on to section 7.6. So 7.6 is dealing with perimeter and area. Perimeter is the distance around the figure. Think of a fence. Okay, you're trying to find the distance around the outside of an object. If it's a rectangle or a square, perimeter is equal to 2 times your length plus 2 times your width. Or you could just add up all of the outsides. Area is the space within a two-dimensional figure. So to find the area of a rectangle or square, that's your length times your width. Bless you. Bless you. So when we have irregular figures, we can split it into regular figures. Let me show you what I mean by that. So if I split this here and here, I can split those into 3 different rectangles. Okay. Guys, shh. So if this total distance across the top is 8, then this segment plus this segment plus this segment has to equal 8. Do you see how I get that? That top segment is 8, so each of the pieces below added together has to be 8.
So the other side is 4?
Exactly. Because 4 plus 2 gives us 8.
So we found the perimeter?
Not yet. What is this section here?
5.
Good. So let's label that as 5. What about this section?
3.
Good. So let's label that as 3. So to find the perimeter, it means we can add up all the outsides. So if I start with the 8,
Add the 2. Then be 10.
hold on.
And the other two.
Can you
Then be
please
10.
listen?
Oh, shut up.
If we start with 8, my suggestion is to go around the outside to every single piece until you get back to the original. So 8 plus 5 plus 4 plus 3, 2, 3,
Oh, 25.
2, and 5.
Wait, I don't think so. 29.
I believe this is 32.
That was 3 off.
8 plus 5 is 13. 13 plus 4 is 17. 17 plus 3 is 20. 20 plus 2 is 22. 22 plus 3 is 25. 25 plus 2 is 27. 27 plus 5 is 32. So perimeter is 32 centimeters.
That was close, then.
Close. Now, what if we're trying to find the area?
You timed everything by 2, right?
No.
Divide.
To find area of a rectangle, you multiply length times width. If we look at this first section on the left, the length is 5, the width is 2. 5 times 2 gives us 10. Then we can find the area of this segment. Do we know what that section is?
2, 2.
Okay, so we know that this is 2 again. 2 times 2 is 4. And then we have to find the area of this section. To find the area of that section, that's 4 times 5, because that's your length times your width, and that is 20. So when we add the areas together, 10 plus 4 plus 20 is 34. But this is going to be 34 centimeters squared. Area has the units squared. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's try another one. Almost all of these sections are labeled. We're only missing this one here.
2.
So if this whole thing is 9, we know that this section plus this section plus that section has to equal 9. And as Terrence said, this is 2.
Yeah.
So perimeter, we're going to add up all the outsides. If we start with our longest section, which is 9, we're doing 9 plus 5 plus 4 plus 2 plus 2 plus 3 plus 3 plus 6, and then we get back to 9. Okay? So plus 5, 4, 2, 2, 3, 3, and 6. So this gives us 14.
Oh, so it's 33?
Plus 4 is 18. Plus 2, 20. Plus 2 is 22. Plus 3 is 25. Plus 3 is 28. Plus 6 is
24.
yep.
I guess it wasn't 33. Wait, then how do you get 34?
I added all those numbers together.
Good. But
I even explained each piece.
that like miscount?
Yeah.
I must have added 3 or something.
So let's split this into equal rectangles, or not equal, but perfect rectangles to find the area. So the area of this first section is what times what?
4 times 5.
4 times 5, which gives us 20. We need to figure out the length of this section first.
3.
Are you sure? How do you get that? I'm not saying you're wrong.
Well, if 2 and 3, like the top one's above number 2. I don't know how to do it.
Look at here.
Yeah, those like.
The long segment's 5, a piece of that is 2, so this has to be 3.
Oh, well.
Okay, so what would the area of this segment be?
6.
Good. And then what about this segment in here?
18.
Good. So now for the area, we're adding up 20 plus 6 plus 18.
44.
44, but this is centimeters squared.
So it's 45?
It is 44 centimeters squared.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay. What if we're working with a slightly more complicated one? We are given the area. Remember, this is area is length times width. So if we take 4 times x plus 3, that's equal to 7x minus 9, because it gives us the area. Okay, so this will help us solve for x. We have to distribute the 4 to both pieces. So this is 4x plus 12 equals 7x minus 9. When we solve something like this, our goal is to get x's on the same side. Let's move that 4x so we can subtract the 4x from both sides. We get 12 equals 3x minus 9. Now that we only have one x, we want to get rid of the regular numbers, so add 9 to get them on the same side. We have 21 equals 3x. What would we do to get x by itself?
Divide.
Divide by 3, good. So 7 is equal to x. Now that we know what that is, we can plug it back in to solve for the area and perimeter. Area was 7x minus 9. All I did was substitute this value of x in here so we can find what the area is. So that's 49 minus 9. What is our area? Should be 40 and then meters squared. We can also use that x to figure out the dimensions around our rectangle. We already know that this is 4, so that also has to be 4. Do you see that? Does that make sense? If we plug 7 in here, what is the length of this whole section?
10.
Good. So let's label that as 10 and 10. For the perimeter, that's equal to twice your length plus twice your width. Or you could just add up all the outsides. It's up to you what you feel more comfortable doing. 8 plus 20 is 28, and this is meters. Questions on distance, area, or perimeter?